Here we go. Welcome back to the Beyond the Dojo podcast. I'm Lauren.
I'm Jeremiah.
And we are on episode 20, and we decided, episode 20, we decided to actually record our podcast live. So if you're listening to this audio only, you're hearing it after the fact, but we're staring at two phones.
And by we, she means she decided that we do it live.
No. We discussed this. Okay. I asked him if he wanted to do it, and he's like, sure, that sounds like a great idea. You said it with that much enthusiasm.
She doesn't understand my sarcasm yet.
Okay. Well, anyway, so we're doing our podcast live on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little bit more interactive. The only problem is that I didn't think about the fact that our phones are so far away, I can't read the text.
There you go.
Okay, anyway, so if anybody just hops on and adds a comment, I will have to get up and go check. Otherwise, you guys get to watch this later. So our topic of discussion today, which is like beating and stabbing and kicking and screaming at a dead horse at this point, is how we as a dojo and as karateka are dealing with and training around COVID-19 or coronavirus, aka the Rona.
The Rona.
I think that it'll be forever more called like the Rona. I think that we're never going to get away from that. They've got the Rona!
That song from the 80s?
What song is that?
Oh, man. I'm not going to make a fool of myself. I'm trying to sing it.
I think you're just making stuff up now. I don't know what this... We'll look it up.
You weren't even alive, dude, so you can't even question the things I say about the 80s.
We will look up the Rona song, and we will find out if it relates to the coronavirus.
It doesn't. It's just La 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 Rona or something like that.
La Bamba? La Bamba.
No.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, so I know that the biggest issue with coronavirus, obviously, is that we're not really supposed to be around other people. We're supposed to be social distancing. Just gonna throw this out there.
Hey, why don't we just go straight to the topic? I think they're tired of hearing all the public announcements about
we're
the
talking about this is the topic. This is the topic.
The topic is how we're dealing with it
I know.
as a business, not what it is and what it affects
I know.
us.
Well, I'm just saying, in Florida, we're behind the ball, so we're still figuring this out.
What I'm saying is you're a willing partner to beating a dead horse, yeah?
Look, I'm giving people time to come and watch, all right?
Everybody knows what the road is about.
Okay, all right. Well, anyway, so part of the issue is obviously dojos are not able to get together. I mean, the number of people who are allowed to be in a group has gone from down from 250 people to 50 people to 10, and now it's don't leave your house if you can help it. So our every day feels like a week because our plans have to change so much. A week and 2 days ago, I actually sent out an email to all of our students and their parents, and I just said, hey, at this point we don't really anticipate closing. The only changes that we intended to make were we would just move classes virtually, we'll move them online if we have to, and then we're going to base that off of attendance.
Yeah, the attendance was pretty poor last week. Our normal big classes had maybe 1 or 2 students total. Mm-hmm. The smallest classes we generally have are the ones that had the most attendees, which was the adults, teens and adults.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I lost track of thought. Hold on. What was I going to say?
I don't know.
I can't remember. I know what it was. The previous week, our students were on spring break, so we were already low, and then they just never came back from spring break, so they're still kind of on their spring break for school. So yeah, definitely changed a lot of things. And it was funny because I had actually started with my my personal training clients, some of my online clients. I had moved them. I had started doing coaching calls on Zoom a couple months ago, and we were able to kind of work out some of the kinks of that. So whenever this kind of happened, I was like, oh, okay, well, we'll just do some of our classes on Zoom, and that'll work. Well, everyone's doing it now, so I feel like smarty pants, even though I didn't say that out loud. Anyway, If you are watching, we'd love to know how your dojo is adjusting or what kind of changes you guys have made to your class structure or whatever it is that you're doing. We are like on the cusp of making those changes, where our changes are actually starting tomorrow. We kind of started to phase things out a little bit last week, but tomorrow is when we're going to start some of our major changes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, so first thing that we were going to actually do was actually move our kids over to online, because like you said, those were our least populated classes, and a lot of their parents just didn't want to get out and get into all this crazy
it's
stuff.
Like kids get sick and spread it quicker. We all know that, so it's just the smartest thing to do.
Yeah.
Most responsible thing to do was to stay home.
Yeah. We even have even like grandparents and stuff like bringing their kids into class. Like they were the ones that we're really concerned about. So we were going to move them online, and we actually set up a bunch of like lists, like, hey, these are time slots that you can jump into. So we kind of threw this back and forth as to how we were going to do this, but the approach that we're intending to take is first we're going to have students select a time slot where it's just like 2 or like 3 to 4 people,
right.
And that way we can actually see them on a computer screen, and they're going to be doing their karate, and we'll be able to coach them while they're training. So we haven't really come up with any class plans yet, but
no, we haven't. But that's that. Most of the time our class plans are in the last minute, anyways.
Yeah, depends on who shows up.
I like the idea that we're going to do the larger group class training on Thursdays instead of the individual, so everybody can kind of feel like they're still part of the community.
Yeah.
I think one of the best things we did was being proactive. The moment Lauren figured out that we were going to have to close down eventually, she started sending out emails. We started talking to our parents, kept in touch. We didn't, we weren't absolutist. We're trying to work with everybody and give them the opportunity to maintain the membership and maintain karate. I know it sounds ridiculous to look at it that way, but in reality, when something like this happens to your business, it is a life and death thing. You can handle it the right way and survive, or you can mess it up and completely ruin your business.
Yeah.
It's how you respond to emergency situations and how do you treat your customers.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we have a lot of people that are paying a monthly membership, and what we had to come up with was, how can we honor the amount that they're paying and still give them a quality,
right.
I guess, service,
right.
but then also not overwork ourselves, which is part of the reason why we decided on like once a week you're getting that like small group coaching,
yep.
And then once a week you're gonna get more of the just like we're training and you're doing an aerobic dance video, but there's no music and we're just punching.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, but I think the benefits for me, I think, are gonna be being more comfortable in front of a camera, being able to teach and understand the slightly different nuances of not being a live, having live students, but, through media and technology.
We're gonna have dead students.
Huh?
What?
Well, you know what I mean, like in person, I guess.
Yes.
So I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. And I mean, it's not that we, I am very fortunate in that, I do personal training, and we live in a very rural area, and essentially what it came down to for me is I could either put all my eggs in the in-person basket, or I could go ahead and try to vary it up and start doing online stuff. So I started doing online training for personal training like 6 years ago. So I've got a little bit of a feel for how you make that connection, and you don't always have to have that face-to-face contact. Sometimes you can give other resources, and that's another thing that we talked about, is providing other resources for our members while we can't see them face-to-face. That's one big thing that I feel like we have a lot of people that are super amazing customers, clients.
Side note, just want to explain myself. We had a little piece of trash on the table.
We just ate.
This is butcher block, and I don't know how to exactly handle it, so I was afraid it was going to stain.
Get it off.
So I am not a
flicking
clean
his boogers
freak by any means, but it's like, if it's going to cost me 3 days of work to get that stain out, I'd rather just pick it up now. So,
yeah.
Excuse me, a poor man.
Excuse me. So anyway, yeah, but we're really blessed with families and clients and customers that are just unbelievable. I mean, they've really stepped up and they continue to support us. We've gotten some leniency from our landlords, and it's just been really awesome. I think it's a weird thing to say, but we've had an awesome experience so far with just seeing how generous people can be to our business. I think that the hard thing, we discussed this too, is a lot of people don't have that, I guess, privilege. They don't have a community like that. They're in situations where their livelihood is now at risk.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's not a privilege.
Yeah.
We've worked hard and very, very thoughtfully groomed our community.
Sure, yeah.
In a sense that we didn't pick and choose who was going to be in it.
Yeah.
But we just kind of set the tone of what's acceptable and what we're about and how our personalities intermingle with our business. Lauren acts like we never give anything away for free, or we never outreach or help anybody. And that the truth is we do a lot of that.
Yeah.
And I think that if you put that out there, and you're honest and truly believe in what you think is right and do the right thing, your customers, your clientele, your community is going to see that.
Yeah.
And they're going to buy into it.
Yeah.
Biggest fear for most people to do anything crazy is to get taken advantage of.
Yeah.
They don't want to do something and get taken advantage of, right?
Yeah.
But if they see people in the community already doing it, it's like that first... you ever see that video? And that guy's dancing in the field and he's by himself, and the commentary is like, it's hard to change a thing by yourself. It's not the first person that changed it. It's normally the first person to join in that makes the biggest difference.
And then everybody's like having a dance party on
and I think that's the same way as when you cultivate a community. It's like you have to be that first person to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And you got to be that weirdo dancing with nobody else dancing with you, right?
Yeah.
But then people see it and they're like, he's got something there. That's something that's cool. I want to be part of that.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that our community was able to grow that way and not be contrived.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't like we built it up to, you're going to scratch my back when I need it.
Yeah.
It was more like, hey, this is who we are, what we do.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that, especially since, like, we had the episode last week where we had that goober head come in and we had such a bad experience, we're really not used to entitled people. We're not used to people who are takers, because we're not like that. We expect... We have a payment structure, I guess. We have an agreement with our clients and with our customers. Like, you pay this exact amount. We're very upfront with people, like what their fees are, and we're going to get exactly this in return. But then we actually try to go above and beyond that. Right. But there's none of this like taking or no tit for tat kind of stuff. We have a legit bit of business relationship with people, and it was important for us to try to continue to have that integrity, I guess, during this time. That's been probably the hardest part.
Yeah, and I think that is a sound business model, especially in martial arts, where everybody feels like you're going to get tit for tatted. You're going to get charged for every little extra. I like the membership attitude. I know a lot of people in the business in the industry are going to say, you're losing money.
Yeah, they will.
And I'm okay with that. I really am.
Yeah.
Because honestly, we're making our bills work. We're paying for things. We're doing our own thing, and it's integrity filled.
Yeah.
I know I can provide the service for that amount of money.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to situations now where we're in this emergency and we can't prepare for things like this.
Yep.
Right? But if everything's done right and you're true to who you are and true to your business model, then I think it kind of eventually works itself around to where the community will pick up the slack, and they'll help out a little bit, and they'll support and understand that, hey, this is everybody's tough time.
Yeah.
My kid doesn't have to have 6 hours of karate training this week.
Yeah.
And I accept that he's going to have to do it online. Those kind of things are invaluable in a business sense.
Yeah.
Because those are the glue that kind of keeps people there when most people are starting to flake off.
Yeah. Well, I kind of want to clarify what he's talking about. So we charge a flat membership rate as like a monthly rate for all of our members. Yep. And we tell them up front, like, this is the schedule that we have. Now, technically, you can train as often as you are allowed to train. Right. The older you are, the more opportunity you have to train, because there's more classes that you will fit into. Younger folks don't have as many classes that they're able to actually train in. But we do it that way kind of on purpose to give people lots of opportunity, especially as you get older. Your schedules get crazy. So now we're just kind of we're learning how to pivot. Basically, we're learning how to adjust. Like, how do we take this amount of value that we normally provide on a weekly basis and replace
the
it.
fair value. Yeah, I agree with you, and I think it's worked out well.
Yeah,
so far.
Yeah, I was
I'm pleasantly surprised. I was afraid that people were going to be like, you know what, I'll just take a week or two from karate.
Yeah.
I was afraid of that because not only for the loss of students, but the loss of time for the students to gain information and maintain their karate.
Yeah.
It's important to me that they constantly train and have the opportunity to constantly train so that the standard of our karate can universally improve. Mm-hmm. And I know everybody's idea of what a karate standard is going to be is different. Mm-hmm. But for us, it's good body mechanics, and it takes a lot of genuine training to get that.
Well, you know what? I feel like a lot of our parents are all like they're not completely on the same page as us, but they kind of get what we're going for. Like they get that we want all of our if we're talking about our children, students, they get that we want those students to improve, and the teens and adults understand that we want the same thing for them. Yeah. What's funny is that all of these parents are essentially being forced to homeschool their kids, and I know that a lot of them are really miserable right now. So I think a lot of them are really grateful that we're doing this. At least the ones that I've talked to so far, they at least are happy that we're giving their kids the opportunity to have some PE, and it's like a structure. I mean, they can let their kid run around outside. That's obviously actually extremely valuable, but giving them a little bit of structure in the middle of this chaos might be somewhat helpful.
I feel like it's God giving the parents a little bit of tough love in the sense that now they got to realize what we've been dealing with their kid and kind of, let's be real. Some of these kids are jerks. Just straight up jerks, and you want to snatch the snot out of them. But, you're trying to work for the better because they're good kids down deep inside, just trying to help them out.
Down deep inside.
We don't have a lot of parents that believe their kids walk on water.
No, we really don't.
We really don't. And
they don't think that they walk on water at all.
The few that my dog is putting her nose on my leg, and
she really wants loving right now. Hi.
The few that did caught on really quick that we weren't picking on their child per se. We just had a structure, and their child was the one that kept on breaking the structure. Yeah. And once everybody saw that, that's that community thing again. Yeah. Where it just kind of, that's the accepting thing, and people get it. Yeah. But then again, we're very upfront about how we handle other children, too.
Yeah. Yeah, well, hey, I ain't gonna lie. If one of them kids messes up tomorrow on those Zoom calls, they going in dying cockroach. I don't care if they're at home. I'll be like, Mom, put him in dying cockroach right now.
There is no problem, Yeah, that's us. We give a structure. You break the structure. There's a consequence. Yeah. Well, you go beyond the structure and you're successul. There's a benefit. Yeah. That's just how it works.
Yeah. Well, kind of going back to the business structure thing. So, with everything that's been going on, like fitness facilities in general are getting closed down. Like ours got closed down on Friday, which we knew that it was going to happen, but wow, to read that on Friday only like a week after we started making adjustments was like a punch in the gut. So I mean, we're gonna get it done, but it was still a lot.
It's funny how we're diabolically different in our perspectives of things. Lauren is like, oh my God, it was a punch in the gut. It hurt so bad.
No, I did not say that. And I literally
was like, yeah, that's exactly what we expected, so no big deal. Let's move on. And Lauren's like, oh, God.
He's exaggerating. It was not like that at all. You're doing really well in front of the camera. You should do this more often.
Some of us got to be entertaining.
So what I was going to say is, this is like the third time I've tried to say it. So fitness facilities, the biggest problem that they run into is that a lot of their services are in person, just like a karate school is in person. So if you don't already have an online component or you don't have other systems in place, how are you going to pivot? How are you going to adjust to all of this? Essentially what I was watching a webinar on Thursday, and the biggest thing that they were trying to drive home is how do you increase resiliency in your business? So if your business is going really well in the format that you have, what would happen if you don't have the opportunity to be in that format anymore, which is exactly what we're experiencing right now. How are you going to adjust your business so that you can still survive? Now, you might have to survive off of a lesser income, but multiple streams of income is something that people talk about pretty often, actually, in all kinds of business things. And so we've thought about
small business owners too, especially.
Yeah, so we've thought about multiple streams of income. We have that, but it's also not even like multiple streams of income. It's like within each business, a part of your business, with each service that you offer, how are you going to back that up if something like this occurs? So that's kind of the thing that we're facing. I had a discussion with a client yesterday. She was like making sure we were doing okay, and I was like, the best thing about this is that it's pointed out weaknesses in our business model. So we're now kind of talking about, okay, so what can we do from here on out to have systems already in place so that this doesn't happen to us again?
Right.
It's like I said, weirdly excited because it's giving me some really cool ideas. Like I wasn't really, I live like on an anxious level, but honestly, when this happened and I realized that like, hey, we're probably going to have to close down, really not that nervous about it because like I've already had experience with this stuff. I'm like, hey, let's just fight this bull head on. I think we can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Lauren, I keep on talking about our community and how we set up structure and there's consequences and rewards and blah, blah, blah. And basically that's filtered over into our business model, and that's what gives us the resiliency that we feel like is the foundation to be able to pivot and move around and adjust to the current situation.
Yeah.
Once you guys are able to find that within your own dojo, then it should be not a problem because your structure generally points you in the direction of the answer that would work for you. Does that make sense? Like for us, it's very tit for tat, and not for tit for tat, but very, structured and very organized. And Lauren, we got people talking to us.
Hold on, I didn't see.
Holy moly!
No, it's just people watching. So Jamie said we were practicing kata on the side of 441 at sunset near Payne's Prairie the other day.
Nice.
That's awesome.
She probably took pictures, bro. She probably did.
Hey, Gordon. Sorry,
Gordon.
I'm looking at the Instagram phone.
Oh. Hey, Gordon.
Gordon says, hey, from France. So, guys, we've been battling the whole time, but one of the things we wanted to talk about is, like, what are other dojos and other folks who are training right now, what are you guys doing to make changes to your structure? Either if it's your business or it's your dojo. We've seen a lot of clubs that are using Zoom, and they're just setting up small appointments with students to be able to train them. Yeah. You know what I want to know? What are the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu dojos doing?
Oh, the judo, aikido.
Yeah, what are the hands-on martial arts doing? So, I mean, I don't know enough about them. Do they have drills where where they train on their own? I gotta come up there, Gordon, because I can't read it. Oh, you're training. He said Gordon was training in his backyard.
Nice.
This afternoon. Oh yeah, you guys are way ahead of us in time. Yeah. We still get to go up to the dojo. It's like about 15 minutes away, but we have our own facility, so I feel bad for you guys that don't have your own place. You got to like train in the dirt. I've done that before. Well, what are the martial arts doing that do have primarily a hands-on component? Do they have like Kihon and stuff that they train? Does anybody know?
I know Aikido does. I know they do a little bit of footwork and a little bit of rotation and spin stuff, but I mean Aikido's almost purely partner work stuff. I mean that's the stuff. That's what makes it so different from karate and kung fu and everything. Is the grappling arts. You have to have somebody. Yeah.
Well, one of the first, because California was one of the first places hit. I was reading some stuff from people who live out there, and they're like, dude, don't forget about your BJJ gyms that you're so in love with and that you're committed to. Keep paying your membership, or they're gonna go under. Go. So I don't know if maybe they're trying to get you to train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with your family at home. Maybe you get to like tap out your kids and stuff. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, but I honestly, the most of the time you talk about like a BJJ dojo or something like that, not Aikido or Judo, but the BJJ guys, they tend to be younger males.
A lot of women now though too.
Not children, but like younger adult males, and it's a little bit more raw and competitive in the sense of masculine adult competition, and not like kids tournament things.
Yeah.
So I think some of those guys are going to probably be all right because you got enough people there to kind of mature, and, they understand the situation.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, as a business, what are they offering instead?
Yeah.
Like, so in karate, we can tell people, train these things at home, or we can have them train along with us, and they don't have to have anybody there with them to train, because we've got all this crazy, like, karate dance. Yeah. Well, training against the air. So how do BJJ people train against the air? Do they do that?
They don't. And that might
tell us if we're wrong, guys, because we don't actually know.
Yeah, because we don't. I mean, I've only limited access and limited experience.
Bug in here.
So honestly, I know that grappling arts, you have to have somebody to grapple.
Yeah.
But then again, other options to reinforce your dojo. Let's say like a BJJ dojo. Mm-hmm. Would offer different arts.
Different, like, oh, you mean like for in the future?
Yeah, in the future.
Yeah.
Or is to offer different arts. We offer a Zumba class. We offer yoga classes. I mean, we're not just a martial arts dojo, We kind of spread ourselves out a little bit.
Well, that's kind of the multiple streams of income thing. But, like, so if you're trying to make your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, though, or your martial arts or whatever, something that's going to last through something like this, what do you offer? What do you do? Right. There's got to be something they do against the air. Somebody's got to tell us.
I just thought of this. It's funny that you say that we had to, think quick because there's a paradigm shift. We had to pivot, right? Mm-hmm. We're a little bit fluid.
Yeah.
I always felt like that our approach to the dojo was always been a little fluid.
Yeah.
Because we know that we're a traditional dojo. We know that we're not going to have, 150, 200 students.
Yeah.
Right? And we know that stream of income is a very specified stream.
Okay.
It takes a very special person, to do that. So
We're
I think yes, especially.
We're special.
I think inherently, we already had that idea that we have to be flexible because we know that our approach is kind of not what the successful business model would be.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's not necessarily like we're not a high school martial arts school, not by any means, and we don't want your stuff that you're selling to our school to make us increase our business, whatever. I mean, obviously, there's always better things we can do, and we can provide more value, but I don't like the. That's not really, we don't really do that stuff, but anyway. But, yeah. So,
hey.
This has been fun.
Yeah, I guess. Anything else?
Well, we really haven't, I mean, we're kind of speculating here because we really haven't implemented all this stuff just yet. Like today I've got to go on and, today I have to go on and schedule all the Zoom calls and I got to get all my clients switched over to online training and all that stuff.
So far, the way we handle it, majority of our students has jumped over onto online. Yep. Easy, no problem. There was no issues, scheduling issues. It was very upfront, but that's because Lauren's a
genius.
No, she covers all aspects. She makes sure everything's covered. So in the email, you're able to click on the link, schedule your class, all of it right there.
Well, there was no link, but yeah.
You understand, but you know what I mean.
You can pick your thing.
Yeah. So that to me was,
pick your class.
So far successful.
Sure.
Yeah. And very representative of who we are.
Yeah. So, I guess if we get locked in at home, we can still train people, but that's going to be the next one that's going to be kind of a bummer is if we get stay-at-home orders, that's going to be, at least we have decent internet, decent internet.
I got to stand up on occasion. I hate sitting on these
So if we look like crazy people, it's because we barely made it back from fishing in time to do this. We went and trained, we slept in, we went and trained this morning, and then we drove over to go fishing, social distancing, but everyone's out on their boats right now in Florida, so.
God, Lord, there was like 200 vehicles at the boat dock.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, and they were all, I couldn't imagine what the ocean or the bay looks like right now.
It probably looks like coronavirus right now.
It probably looks like, you ever seen that?
Corona zombies.
The island bar down in, I think it's out just off the coast of Fort Myers, where it's this big old sandbar that everybody goes to in this spring break, and it turns into this huge bar, like alcohol bar. But that kind of makes me think of like the scene from out there. It's just got to be boats on top of boats.
Nope. I haven't seen it.
I know.
Anyway.
It sounds like we're really rural because we are. And that's the things we talk about is like just the sheer population
Y'all see them boats out there? Yep, I saw them.
Blows our mind because we still have like...
They're going to get the Rona.
Between people. Social distancing is normal. How you doing?
I know, that's how you live. What do you mean social distancing? What does that even mean? All right. Well, guys, thank you for watching. If you guys come on and comment later, we will address it. Obviously, we can't address it in this actual episode. But if you guys have cool ideas for what your dojo is doing or suggestions for what you think dojo should be doing during this time, please let us know.
It's still a podcast, so what you working on?
Oh, shoot. I forgot. All right. Okay.
Because she ain't working on something.
Yes, I am.
Working on your hair.
Shut up. All right, so the last thing I was working on was in Sochin, in the Fudodachi, trying to get my knees to stop falling in. I got a little bit better about that. It's not perfect, obviously, so I still like warm up with the bands and stuff to make sure my hips are warmed up and my knees don't fall in. But right now, I'm working on the last segment in Sochin. So the part where you do that turn and the crescent kick, the landing, and then the stepping to the corners, and then coming back to the middle. So with that crescent kick, I'm working on not over rotating because I tend to go way too far around and end up with my feet almost in line. So I got to fix that. Still trying to implement the better Fudodachi into those corner steps. So it's crazy that like you practice a new part of the kata and now all of a sudden it all goes back to the same way that it was. That's horrible. It's not how that's supposed to work. So working on those sections. Working on not over rotating my hips and shoulders, and then working on better control of that root leg on that front kick, the last front kick before the two punches in the ki point. So pretty much the entire section. So let y'all know how that goes. What you working on?
This week was a little bit more strength and conditioning for me. By that I mean I did the weighted workout, 5 pounds on the wrist, 2.5 pounds on the ankles, and then a 10-pound vest. And just kind of, for me, the weighted workouts give me a better scale or indicator of where I'm off. If my posture's bad, I can really feel it with that vest on. If I'm slinging with my shoulder, I can feel it. I mean, the extra weight at the extremities, to me, is probably one of the best teachers. Because if you can control that kick or punch, block, whatever, with weight on your wrist, you can control your normal technique a lot better.
But you're going really slow, right?
Oh, yeah. When I do any kind of weighted workout, I don't think I go past 40% speed power. I never try to go fast. I never try to go hard. I want to go slow and smooth as possible. That's my goal, because the slower and the smoother you are, the more results you get from the training.
Yeah. Well, plus you also prevent yourself from like throwing yourself out and getting injured and stuff.
Yeah, blowing out your joints, basically. Yeah. But that's what I've been working on this week. I decided to go a little bit more conditioning, stretching, the weight workout again. And then I worked on side snap kick. I'm still working on that thing. And today I think I have a little something special because I think I figure out how to keep my supporting leg bent. I tend to be one of those guys when I throw that side snap kick, my supporting leg is straight. It's like I throw my everything into it, and then what happens?
You just really want them to die.
After the kick, you get caught. You lost everything into it. And I want to make sure that even though I like my side kick as it is now, it's not, in my mind, the most efficient way to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to build the strength and the balance to get there. I know it sounds ridiculous because I think for all 20 episodes I've been working on side snap kick.
I think there's been a mention of side snap kick in about 18 out of 20 of these episodes. So.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But that is the technique since the day I started karate that has given me the worst issues.
I honestly think that side snap kick and back stance are two of like the hardest things that we do in karate and Shotokan at all. Back stance and side snap kick.
And then again, it might just be, paralysis through over-analysis. I might be thinking too much of it.
Or we just suck really bad.
Option 2 seems a little bit more legit.
True that.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. And what I want to say before we leave is, for all our parents and all our local, community, thank you for your support. Thank you for all your offers and prayers. Man, it means the world to us that our community cares as much about us as we do about them. Thank you from the deep bottom part of our heart.
Yeah, what's really awesome is like something as insignificant as like the martial arts school. People care about us that much to be like, hey, I can't bring my kid in for karate until this is over, but I'm gonna come pay my membership anyway. Yeah. Even if you guys don't offer anything extra, like you guys are just
that's awesome, dude.
Incredible. We have like the coolest people that we work with.
Yeah. Yeah, we are very blessed to have the community we do. So thank you guys. Thank you very much. And for our distant friends who just like to train with us.
You're so distant.
Just
So
gotta put up with
distant.
our bull, man. It is what it is. You don't like it, suck it up, buttercup.
Okay, well, you guys don't pay us, so.
No, but we still like it because you pay us in likes.
Correct.
Bye, guys. Have a wonderful
Bye,
week.
guys.